If you're over 60, there's one thing you do every single night that could quietly raise your risk of a stroke without any pain, without any warning while you sleep. No chest pain, no slurred speech, no dizziness to alert you. You go to bed feeling just fine, and by morning, something has changed. You wake up confused, unable to speak clearly, or you can't lift your arm. A stroke, silent, sudden, and life-altering. All because of something as simple as the way you sleep. As a brain doctor, I've seen this far too many times. And not because of smoking or poor diet or lack of exercise, but because of common sleeping habits that most seniors believe are safe. They're not. Today, I'm going to walk you through 9 dangerous sleeping positions and nighttime routines that may be increasing your risk of stroke, brain bleeds, or blood pressure spikes, especially in the quiet hours when your brain is most vulnerable. If you or someone you love is over 60, this video could save a life, maybe even yours, so don't look away. Let's begin. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. 1. Sleeping flat on your back with no pillow. Supine head level. It seems harmless, even comforting. Lying flat on your back at night, arms at your sides, no pillow under your head. For many older adults, it's a habit that started decades ago. Some say it helps with back pain, others feel it opens up the chest. But here's what almost no one tells you. Sleeping flat on your back without elevating your head can silently increase your risk of stroke overnight. And you might never feel it coming. When you sleep completely flat, your head is on the same level as your heart. That might sound natural, but physiologically it's not, especially not in older adults. You see, as we age, our vessels in our neck and brain lose their flexibility. Blood doesn't flow as efficiently. The veins that are meant to drain blood from your brain must now fight against gravity. That means instead of draining smoothly, blood can pool, slow down, and even clot, especially in the early morning hours when blood pressure naturally rises. And when blood clots form during sleep, they don't stay quiet for long. One small clot in a narrowed vessel, and the consequences can be devastating. Slurred speech, facial drooping, permanent disability, even death. What most people don't understand is that when you lie flat, especially with age-related vascular changes, venous drainage from the brain becomes compromised. That's medical language for this. Your brain's plumbing system slows down, and stagnant blood can become a breeding ground for clots. Add in natural overnight dehydration and low oxygen saturation, and you've got a perfect storm. This position is especially dangerous for seniors with hypertension, atrial fibrillation, sleep apnea, a history of coordinated artery disease, or those on blood pressure medications that drop pressure too low at night. The safest adjustment, slight head elevation, about 30 degrees. It helps gravity assist blood flow, reduces intracranial pressure, and allows the brain to oxygenate more evenly. Even 1 or 2 supportive pillows can make a profound difference. And always choose a pillow that supports the natural curve of the neck, not one that tilts the chin forward. Some people think this is just about comfort. It's not. It's about blood flow to the most delicate organ in your body. It's about protecting your independence, your memory, your ability to speak, to walk, to be you. Now, let's move on to point number 2. 2. Sleeping face down, prone position. There's a quiet mistake many older adults make every night, one that feels comforting, familiar, and even harmless. Sleeping on your stomach. Maybe you started doing it to ease back pain. Maybe you like the pressure on your chest or the way it makes you feel cocooned and safe. But I'm here to tell you something you may have never heard from your primary doctor. Sleeping face down can be one of the most dangerous positions for your brain. In medical terms, it's called the prone position. In younger bodies, it might not cause much harm. But as we age, our circulation slows, our arteries harden, and our oxygen levels dip more easily, especially during the deep sleep stages. When you sleep face down, several dangerous things begin to happen. Your neck turns sharply to one side to allow you to breathe. This position compresses the vertebral arteries, which are responsible for carrying oxygen-rich blood from your spine to the back of your brain, a region that controls balance, coordination, and even your ability to stay conscious. But that's not all. This posture also places pressure on the carotid arteries, especially when your head sinks into a soft pillow or mattress. Blood flow is slowed. Veins that are supposed to drain blood from your brain become kinked. Stagnant blood collects, thickens, and in vulnerable people, it forms blood clots. These clots may sit quietly for hours, waiting until the early morning surge in blood pressure hits, dislodging them and sending them directly into the brain. The result? A stroke, often massive, sometimes fatal. In the prone position, neck rotation can impinge vertebral artery flow by more than 40%, especially if the pillow or mattress forces your head backward. Chest compression can reduce lung expansion, leading to low oxygen saturation, which places additional stress on your heart and brain. Obstructed airflow can increase carbon dioxide retention, which further alters brain blood flow, often leading to vascular instability. As we age, we don't tolerate oxygen drops the way we used to. Our body's natural response time is slower. A 30-year-old might wake up gasping and readjust. But at 70 or 80, the same drop in oxygen might pass unnoticed, silently setting the stage for nighttime stroke. And if you're someone who snores, has sleep apnea, or takes sedatives or sleep medications, sleeping face down is even more dangerous. Your body is less responsive, your airway is more likely to collapse, and the chance of a silent, oxygen-starved stroke goes up. If you or someone you love is in the habit of sleeping on their stomach, I urge you, try switching to your side with a firm pillow that keeps your head aligned. Or better yet, sleep slightly elevated on your left side to help protect both brain and heart circulation. These small changes are not about comfort, they are about survival. Because what feels cozy might be putting deadly pressure on the very arteries that keep your brain alive. And remember, it's not just about how you sleep, it's also where pressure builds while you sleep. Because next, we're going to talk about a sleeping habit millions of seniors fall into, especially those with hip or shoulder pain, that quietly cuts off blood flow and leads to sudden strokes in the night. And it happens on your favorite side.
3. Sleeping with a heavy blanket over the head. There's a small, deeply personal habit that many seniors carry with them into old age. Something comforting, almost childlike, that we do without thinking. We pull the blanket up over our heads at night. Maybe it's to block out noise from a snoring partner or a humming fan. Maybe the room feels drafty or too bright. Or maybe, like many who grew up in colder homes, we find a kind of peace under that cocoon of warmth and silence. But for older adults, this small nighttime habit can quietly turn deadly. When you sleep with a heavy blanket over your head, you're not just blocking light or sound, you're limiting airflow. Over the course of the night, oxygen levels drop inside that tiny space. Carbon dioxide, the waste gas we exhale, builds up around your nose and mouth. And while your younger body may have tolerated it decades ago, at 60, 70, or 80, your brain doesn't recover the same way. Low oxygen and high carbon dioxide during sleep increase your risk of blood thickening, and in vulnerable brains, it forms blood clots. When you're under the covers rebreathing stale air, your oxygen drops. Your heart compensates by beating faster, and your blood pressure begins to fluctuate. These spikes and valleys put stress on already fragile vessels. Add in mild dehydration, slow circulation, and age-hardened arteries, and you've created a perfect setup for a clot to form. And here's the terrifying part. You might never know it's happening. You go to sleep feeling warm and safe, but your brain is suffocating slowly. And by the time the damage is done, you may wake up a different person, if you wake up at all. Medical studies have shown that even mild hypoxia, reduced oxygen levels during sleep, is linked to a significantly increased risk of stroke and cognitive decline in seniors. And this isn't only a risk for those with diagnosed sleep apnea, It can affect anyone whose breathing is disrupted by environment or posture. If you're someone who sleeps with a blanket over your head, even just during the winter months, it's time to rethink the routine. Instead of pulling the covers up, try wearing a sleep mask to block out light or use earplugs for sound. Keep your room at a comfortable, warm temperature and invest in breathable, lightweight bedding. This isn't about discomfort. It's about protection, about giving your brain the oxygen it needs to restore, repair, and survive the night. Because strokes don't just happen to other people. Now, let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Sleeping upright in a recliner, frequent in seniors with back pain. For many older adults, sleep becomes more difficult with age. Not just falling asleep, but staying asleep without pain or discomfort. Achy joints, stiff spines, acid reflux, and shortness of breath all lead to one common solution: the recliner chair. You may know someone who's abandoned their bed altogether, or maybe that someone is you. Night after night, recliner sleeping becomes routine. A soft blanket, the television humming faintly in the background, the chair angled just right. It feels secure. But what feels safe can sometimes be quietly dangerous. And as a brain doctor, I've seen how this position, sleeping upright in a reclined chair, can slowly, silently increase the risk of stroke overnight. You see, the human body was designed to rest flat, with blood and oxygen flowing evenly. But when you sleep in a semi-upright position, say 45 to 60 degrees, you're putting your circulatory system at a disadvantage, especially if you're older. In this position, gravity does two things. It pulls blood downward away from your brain, and it compresses the major veins in your legs and hips. The result? Sluggish blood flow pooling in the lower limbs and a much higher risk of clot formation. In younger bodies, this isn't as dangerous, but after age 60, the situation changes. The blood becomes thicker due to age-related dehydration. The vessels grow narrower from decades of wear and tear. The heart pumps less efficiently, and that slow-moving blood pooled in your lower body can form clots. Small, sticky, silent threats that may travel upward during the night or early morning hours. All it takes is one of those clots lodging in a vessel in the brain. The damage is done before you even wake up. So many people assume the danger is in moving too much, but for seniors, the danger is often in staying still, in the wrong position, for too long. But if you think a recliner might cut off blood flow, wait until you see what happens when you sleep on your favorite side with your arm pinned under your pillow. It feels natural, comforting, but it may be the most damaging position of all. 5. Sleeping on the right side with arm under pillow, most dangerous. There's a position that millions of people find comfort in, especially older adults. It feels natural. It feels secure. You lie on your right side, tuck a soft pillow under your head, maybe cradle another between your knees, and, out of habit, slide your arm underneath. You drift off thinking it's the same way you've slept for decades. But as a brain doctor, I have to tell you, this is the most dangerous sleeping position I see in seniors. Not because it causes pain, but because it quietly restricts blood flow to your brain night after night, and maybe increasing your risk of stroke in the very hours when you believe you're resting safest. Let's break it down. When you lie on your right side, especially with your arm wedged under your head or pillow, you're putting direct pressure on major arteries and veins in your neck and shoulder, including the carotid artery and the subclavian artery. These are critical vessels, highways for blood traveling to and from your brain. But when they're compressed for hours, the flow slows. Blood pools, veins get squeezed, arteries narrow, and in the quiet stillness of sleep, stagnant blood begins to thicken. It forms blood clots. That clot might stay in place for hours until you shift in the early morning hours. Your blood pressure rises with the sunrise. The clot dislodges, it travels upward, and in seconds, your brain is starved of oxygen. Please share this video with your parents, friends, and family, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss new useful recommendations from your doctor. Take care of yourself and be healthy.